Let's get more now on the government's preparations for a no-deal Brexit and details of that confidential government report published by the Sunday Times newspaper yesterday, outlining the potential difficulties caused by a no-deal Brexit, which included major impacts on fuel, food and medicine supplies, amongst other things. Well, Michael Gove, Cabinet Minister responsible for no-deal preparations, said the report was a worst-case scenario and that the government had stepped up no-deal planning over the last month or so. Let's talk about all of this now with Richard Ballantyne, who's Chief Executive of the British Ports Association. Thank you for being with us, Richard. Just give us a picture of what you think life just after a no-deal Brexit would look like.
Well, ports are prepared as much as they can be, but I have to say a no-deal could be particularly disruptive, particularly for ports like Dover and the roll-on, roll-off ports, which facilitate tens of thousands of lorry movements between the UK and EU every day.
Just give us a bit of detail on that, then give us a bit of flesh on the bones of that. What sort of delays, how many trucks would be delayed, how long would all this go on for?
Well, potentially if you look at the papers that were leaked, it does say that we're looking at customs controls and other border checks on all these lorries and freight, which could potentially go on for several months while operators get used to the new arrangements and adjust their systems. So that could mean stoppages at ports, at ro-ro ports of these vehicles, and that is what the main challenge is. And the queues of lorries coming out of ports is a possibility in some locations. Other ports will be able to manage it, but the ro-ro ports I mentioned, Dover, Holyhead, Portsmouth, Immingham, etc., they will be the ones with the biggest challenges.
And in terms of shortages, we hear a lot about potential shortages of fuel, food, medicines, all this kind of thing. What would you see as happening there?
Well, I mean, we don't have any real idea of the particular types of things that will be delayed, because it's whatever we trade with Europe. It could be anything really. But the government is building extra freight capacity. It's got resilience. It's buying capacity on ferries for Category 1 goods, and that includes things like medicines, etc. So there are some plans in place, but a no deal with immediate effect on the 1st of November would be very challenging for the freight operators to deal with. So while the ports are probably ready, I think the wider logistics and trade industry have got a lot to do, and they'll be looking for support from government and some further investment, hopefully, from the...
And from what you've seen, are no-deal Brexit preparations, are they being stepped up? Is the government, are the authorities generally getting their act together in case there is a no-deal Brexit on October the 31st?
Yes, very much. We've seen the announcement just 2 weeks ago from the Treasury, which was $2 billion, of which about 300 million or so will be spent on borders and infrastructure to support the facilitation of trade. We also had a bove round table meeting of several cabinet ministers down in Dover the week before last, where the industry was there speaking to people like Michael Gove, Priti Patel, and also Grant Shapps, the Transport Secretary. So there's definitely a movement going on there, but I have to reiterate, a no deal could be quite problematic for not just the ports but the wider logistics industry.
And very briefly, do you think a no deal Brexit is what we're heading for?
Well, we're not a political organisation, but it does look more possible now, so it's only prudent to start preparing for those kind of things.
OK, Richard Ballantyne, thank you very much indeed. Thanks for your time.